So this is a 1985 Ford LTD. Project. It's got the 5.0 liter 302. It's been sitting here since well, I know it's been sitting in this spot since at least 2015. I think it might be a couple of years before that. Currently not running. It's got fuel pump issues. I gotta work out. Gotta fix on it. Among other issues, it's got brake problems and probably a lot of other things I don't even know about yet. I had to drill the lockout on the trunk because it was all seized up. I couldn't get it. I have the keys, but I couldn't get it to open, so I had to drill it out. It is just a standard LTD. It's not an LX. It is a V8 car. It's been in a wreck. This was my, well, prior ownership. It wasn't my grandparents' car. Or my grandfather drove it mostly. I think they both drove it. But years and years ago. This was one of my grandpa's favorite cars. Mostly because it would always start. It was pretty dependable. Of course, fuel injected, but so it has been in a wreck. It's got two blue doors on it here. The car's supposed to be white, if you can tell underneath all the grime. It does have damage there, down here. Tail light's busted. And that's just how my grandparents had it the whole time they owned it. No passenger side mirror. I'm not sure if that's normal or not. It's kind of awkward. Doors were obviously replaced from the because of the accident that happened. And then there was a dent here that happened during my grandparents' ownership. My grandfather kind of pushed back out. It's not perfect, but it was in pretty far before. Probably address that at some point. Starting to get a little rust in a few spots, but it's not bad for the age. Blue interior, headliners completely shot. AM FM stereo. Just the radio, not even a cassette. This hole down there in that passenger side door, obviously somebody had speakers in those doors. Got a TV picture tube back here. There's the Ford oval for the grill. There's the gauges. Definitely needs a lot of cleanup work. Really like these cars. It's always been one of my favorite cars. I always really wanted this one. Kind of exciting to finally get to work on it a little bit. They're getting a little rusty. Here we go. 5.0 liter EFI high output. Now, so I haven't, well, I've fired this engine over, but with the fuel pump issues, there's no fuel delivery, so you prime it and it'll fire over real quick, which I actually did sometime last year. And I'll actually show, you'll see here in a moment, of some video clip footage of that. Now, when I first cranked this over, I really shouldn't have done this, but I did. For the amount of time it had been sitting, I should have put oil there on the cylinders, but I didn't. But I think honestly the motor was a little tight. But then it kind of loosened up a little bit. Well, it probably didn't help that I had a dead battery, but I know that was something you don't, I mean, for the amount of time it had been sitting, I really should have put oil down it, considering I really want to preserve this engine, but that was a mistake on my part. I knew better, but I don't think it's really damaged anything. It's probably fine, but it's just not recommended practice. It did fire over. I believe the motor's still pretty healthy. These plugs down here are going to be a bear to get to. That's kind of why I didn't do it. The ones on this side are pretty easy, though. Look like it. But there we go. 302. It's an automatic, I guess. You probably noticed that inside. Which, honestly, that's probably what most of these were, though I have heard of some rare 5-speed ones. So, the brakes are shot on this too. I think I already said that. So, main thing right now is just getting it running. Got all kinds of stuff growing on here. And we've got another 85 Ford here too. But that's a whole nother story. So anyway, first things I'm going to have to address on this is the fuel pumps. Now on these there's 2 fuel pumps. At least to my understanding anyway. There's one in the tank, and then there's one mounted underneath the frame rail underneath. I don't know a whole lot about these fuel injection systems. They're mostly, to be honest, I'm not well acquainted with any kind of fuel injected stuff. I mostly have worked on carbureted stuff, but this is a very early fuel injection system. There's the pump in the tank, and there's a pump underneath the frame rail. And I believe my understanding was that my grandfather told me years ago that I believe that the pump in the tank went out, and he just wired up the one on the frame rail straight, the one underneath, so it would constantly stay running or something like that. I could be wrong. I'm gonna find out when I start tracing wires down and figuring stuff out. I gotta figure out why they're not working. Either it's an electrical issue, or more than likely the pumps are just bad. Which I'm sure the pumps are just bad. Well, I know the one in the tank's bad because my grandfather told me it was. I guess he was driving the car off of just the one pump. That's, if my memory serves me right, this was years ago, so. So, first order of business is going to be getting those fuel pumps figured out. Then we can get this thing running. And then go from there.